every year there's a few of these movies that it comes out, I'm not really aware of it coming out, and then I just start hearing some people that I follow on Twitter or other social media start singing this film's praises, and I'm like, all right, well, I guess I'm checking this movie out. That is the case with Nyad today, starring Annette Benet and Jodie Foster. So let's talk about Nyad, which is a film which stars Annette Bening as Diana Nyad. She is this world-class swimmer from, I believe she started swimming in the 1970s. She had this goal to get from Cuba to Florida, that 100-mile swim. She wanted to do it all by herself. She wanted to basically set the record for the longest swim, which it was a swim that was going to take, I think, somewhere around 56 hours in total, in a complete endurance test. Now, in the 1970s, it fails. Nyad, now in her, I want to say probably early 60s, this film takes place in the 2010s. She decides that dream, like she wants to do it, and thus she is going to go out and attempt this swim. Nyad is directed by, and I'm pulling up their names, Elizabeth Chow, Vasarheiyl, and Jimmy Chin. They are the directors of the film Free Solo, which was that documentary film about the guy who free soloed Half Dome in Yosemite. They are really good directors of nature and people doing extremely crazy things just to almost say that they did it, and that thrill and that experience. Annette Bening stars as Nyad, a very complicated character both in the film and in real life. I will say that this screenplay does not give Annette Bening a lot to do emotionally in this film. I think she is kind of one note in a lot of scenes in this movie, and she comes off as just kind of mean-spirited for chunks of this film. However, Annette Bening's transformation in this film is pretty incredible. The physical transformation of this role is pretty remarkable. She looks incredible. Just the shape that she got in, it's pretty astonishing to watch her transformation, even if I don't think this story did enough for the character of Nyad and to explain the complexities of this character. This film is very much a feel-good sports movie about the triumph of will and the goal to just go out there and be successful and achieve your dreams. There is no more nuance in this film than that. Some people are going to be easily pleased and charmed by this movie, and I will say that this film is very easy to like for a lot of it. You're just on board. You're on board for the inspirational aspects of this movie, largely due to Jodie Foster's performance as Bonnie. She's the coach and best friend of Nyad, and their relationship in this movie. She, as Jodie Foster, one, is jacked in this movie. She looks great in this movie. And her performance is definitely kind of the more heart, the more fun of this movie that adds to the inspirational, because Nyad is a very complicated character that we don't always get the nicest and friendliest read of. Jodie Foster's character, Bonnie, does a great job balancing her out. In watching Nyad, I can say that this is a film that I've seen before, and I also can say that this film was not one that I disliked watching ever. I thought it was very competently made. I think these directors have a great eye for talent. I just think the screenplay lets it down too often, and it becomes very conventional. I think Nyad, exploring the more controversial natures of this protagonist, exploring some of the controversies with this swim itself, because this swim, there became a controversy after it of whether it counted, whether because, she wasn't actually recorded doing it, so it's all she said, and then do they regulate it, blah, 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 Guinness World Record. It all gets a very convoluted very quickly, and while I understand their choice not to get into it, it does just add this kind of lack of complexity in its storytelling, and I think it would have been more interesting to see some of that criticism addressed in this movie, even if they weren't pro this criticism, because honestly, I kind of feel the same way. Her achievement is pretty remarkable nonetheless. And the other aspect that they don't get into is Nyad has this kind of controversy around her of being a liar and exaggerating the truth, as she herself has said. And she did this. She's a complicated human being, And they just, in this film, they kind of just portray her as grouchy. Nyad was a film that I thought was good, and I didn't think was anything more than that. I think you could very well see Annette Bening and Jodie Foster awarded, or I should at the very least say nominated for Nyad. That's really the most that I see of this film getting. I don't predict anything really else of this film, or at least above the line categories. But I do think Jodie Foster, she would be the one that surprises me the least getting a nomination out of Nyad. Again, this film is good, nothing more than that. It's a solid 2.5 out of 4 stars. I enjoyed watching it. I can't say I'm going to remember it. Even after one day after watching, I already kind of forgot some details. So worth a watch. I don't think will stick with your mind. Anyway, thank you all for watching this review. My name is Ben Friedman, and take care.